This is my new video for YouTube for Billy's Mysteries of the Unknown. It is about the number one killer of teenagers and adults in their early 20s. To all people, ask yourself this question. What is the number one killer of teenagers and adults in their early 20s when it comes to peer pressure? Answer: drugs. And unfortunately, most teenagers and adults in their early 20s are getting involved with drugs. Rather, it's using steroids to bulk up or even being influenced by people they think are their friends or the love of their life to do drugs such as cocaine, meth, or heroin or weed. And unfortunately, they're unaware that they're being pressured to do something that could get them in trouble or even killed. And unfortunately, they usually don't find out till it's too late when they lose their reputation and get in trouble because of those people who influence them to do drugs or what they see on TV or social media such as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And unfortunately, most parents or guardians are not aware that their children are getting involved with the wrong people and drugs. And unfortunately, they usually don't find out till it's too late, until when they get a call from the police or the friend's parents that their child or children got in trouble or even killed because they were involved with drugs. So to all young people, especially teenagers and people in their early 20s, listen to me very carefully. If someone's pressuring you to do drugs such as steroids, meth, heroin, or cocaine, or weed, or any, and you know it's wrong, don't do it, because they're not your friends. If they're really your friends, they don't want you to do that. If they're pressuring you to do drugs, you need to get away from them. Because if you don't, you're going to end up getting in trouble or worse. And a lot of teenagers and adults in their early 20s have died because of being involved with drugs. I have some friends that got in trouble because of drugs and hanging around with the wrong people, and two of them are now dead because of that. So really think of the consequences before you decide to get involved with drugs such as steroids, meth, heroin, cocaine, or weed. Because if you get involved with this stuff, not only could you lose your reputation because of drugs, you could lose your life as a result. So if anyone you think are your friends are pressuring you to do stuff like drugs, you need to get away from them fast. Because like I said, if you don't, you could end up getting in trouble or worse because of how it affects your brain and eventually can affect your whole body and can eventually take your life. And to all parents, listen to me very carefully. Really pay attention who your kids hang around with, get influenced by, rather it's so-called friends or a lover. Because if they're influencing them to do drugs or they see stuff on TV, movies, shows, or even some kind of cartoon or something on social media involving drugs, you better get them away from. Don't let them watch that stuff and get them away from it. Because it can influence them to do bad things. And if you say it's harmless, you're wrong, because it could end up getting them in trouble or worse because of what they see. And if you hear that your children are hanging around with bad people, whether it's so-called friends or a lover, and they're involved with drugs, and especially when more than one person has told you, don't say it, ain't none of your business. You need to listen to these people. Because if you don't, your kids are going to end up getting in trouble because of the influence these people have on them, and especially when they're influencing them to do drugs or other bad stuff. So really pay attention what they watch on TV, movies, shows, internet, and social media, especially if they're influencing them to do drugs or other bad things. And pay attention to these so-called friends or this person they want to date, or dating, or plan to, or are married to, or even plan to marry. Because if you're not paying attention, they can end up getting in trouble or worse. Remember what I just said. I'm Billy McNeely for Billy's Mysteries of the Unknown. Remember what I just said, and may God be with all his children always.